Learn English through story. What really happens inside a supermarket? Intermediate level. The supermarket you're about to walk into, it holds on average over 30,000 unique products. 30,000. From the brightest red apple to the most obscure brand of tea, every single item is fighting for a spot in your cart. And the way they fight, well, it isn't always fair. The store itself is a carefully designed battlefield, and from the moment you step inside, your senses are the targets. This isn't just a trip to get milk. This is a journey through a masterclass in psychology. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. You're coming on a shopping trip with Tom, and through his eyes, we're going to see what really happens inside a supermarket. You'll learn the English vocabulary you need to get around, but more importantly, you'll learn the secrets hidden in every aisle, on every shelf, and on every single price tag. All right, here we are, standing right outside the automatic doors. They slide open with that gentle whoosh, giving us a blast of cool, conditioned air. Meet Tom. He's got that look we all know, a little determined, a little overwhelmed. In his hand, he's clutching a piece of paper, his shopping list. This is his map and his shield, the best tool for any supermarket mission. Without it, he's way more likely to wander, browse, and fall for the store's many traps. His first decision happens before he's even inside. To his right, there's a neat row of shopping carts, or trolleys as they say in British English. They come in a few sizes, but the standard, family-sized cart is enormous. It's almost comically large if you only need a few things, and that's no accident. A big, empty cart just begs to be filled. It makes your small pile of groceries look a bit sad and lonely, subtly nudging you to add more. Tom needs quite a bit today, so he grabs one of the larger carts. He gives it a little push. The wheels spin freely. A good cart is a small victory, but an important one. We've all been stuck with a wobbly wheel or a cart that pulls to one side, and it can add a surprising amount of frustration to the trip. Next to the big carts are smaller, two-tiered ones, and also a stack of plastic hand baskets. If you're just popping in for a handful of items, a basket is your best friend. It's a physical reminder of your limits because it gets heavy fast, forcing you to head to the checkout. Tom, though, has a long list. His fridge is practically echoing. He unfolds his list, a mix of handwritten notes and items he's circled in a weekly flyer. A flyer, or a circular, is that printed ad that supermarkets mail out or leave by the entrance, full of weekly specials, discounts, and coupons. Tom already has a rough game plan. Let the journey begin. The first place Tom enters is the produce section. This is almost universal in supermarket design. You're hit with a burst of vibrant color and life. Bright green lettuces, deep red peppers, sunny yellow lemons. The air smells fresh, clean, and healthy. This is a deliberate choice. Greeting you with the healthiest, most beautiful part of the store sets a positive tone for your entire shopping trip. It makes you feel good about your choices, and studies show that if you put healthy items in your cart first, you feel more licensed to pick up less healthy, high-profit impulse buys later on. It's a clever little psychological nudge. Tom steers his cart toward the veggies. He needs a head of lettuce for salads this week and sees a few different kinds. There's iceberg lettuce, pale and crisp, and romaine lettuce, with its long, sturdy leaves. There's also a display of spring mix, a pre-washed and packaged blend of baby greens. Tom inspects a head of romaine, looking for fresh, unwilted leaves and avoiding any heads with brown spots or slimy bits. The term for this is browning or wilting. He wants something crisp. He grabs a healthy-looking head, puts it in one of those thin plastic-produced bags from the dispenser, and gently places it in his cart. Next on his list, bell peppers. The display is a beautiful gradient of green, yellow, orange, and red. A common question is, what's the difference? Generally, the color shows how ripe it is. Green peppers are picked the earliest and taste a bit more bitter. As they ripen, they turn yellow, then orange, and finally red. Red bell peppers are the sweetest because they're the most mature, and they also tend to be the most expensive. Tom needs one for a stir-fry, so he goes for a red one. He gives it a light squeeze. It should be firm. A soft spot can mean it's bruised or starting to go bad. He picks a firm, glossy pepper and adds it to the cart. His list also says onions. He finds a large bin of yellow onions sold loose, meaning you can pick as many as you want. They're priced per pound or per kilogram in many countries. He needs 2. He picks them up, feeling their weight. They should feel heavy for their size and have dry, papery skins. He avoids any that are soft or sprouting green shoots. Nearby are red onions, which are milder and great for salads, and sweet onions, like Vidalias, which are perfect for caramelizing. Tom sticks with the standard yellow onions for his cooking. Now for some fruit. He sees a huge display of apples with so many varieties: tart Granny Smith, mild and sweet Gala, and super crisp Honeycrisp. Each type has a sign with its name, price, and sometimes a description of its flavor. Tom's looking for a good all-purpose apple for snacking and decides on Galas. He inspects a few, turning them over to check for bruises or blemishes. A small spot is okay, but he avoids any with deep cuts or mushy areas. He bags about 5 of them. He also notices a sign, organic bananas. What does organic actually mean? In simple terms, it means the produce was grown without most synthetic pesticides and fertilizers. It's often, but not always, more expensive than the non-organic or conventional kind. Tom compares the prices. Yep, the organic bananas are 30 cents more per pound. He looks at the bananas themselves. He wants a bunch that's mostly yellow with a little green at the stems. This means they're perfect for eating now, but will last a few days. If they were all green, they'd be underripe. If they had lots of brown spots, they'd be overripe, though those are perfect for banana bread. He chooses a bunch of conventional bananas and places them carefully in the cart so they don't get bruised. The final item here is a carton of strawberries. The packages are clear plastic, so he can inspect the berries. He turns the container over to look at the bottom. This is a pro tip. Sometimes the berries on top look perfect, but the ones hidden underneath are moldy or crushed. He checks for any fuzzy white or gray mold and any dark, mushy berries, which are signs of decay. The carton he picks looks good. The berries are bright red and plump. The smell of fresh strawberries is intoxicating, another one of the supermarket's sensory tricks. Leaving the vibrant colors of produce behind, Tom now follows his nose. He's drawn in by one of the most powerful smells in the whole store: freshly baked bread. The bakery department is usually right near the produce section or along the store's edge. That aroma isn't just a happy accident, it's a sales strategy. That warm, comforting smell can trigger hunger and nostalgia, making you more likely to buy not just bread, but other goodies too. Tom needs a loaf for sandwiches, and he's staring at a wall of options. There's the pre-packaged, pre-sliced bread in the main aisle, and then there's the artisan bread, displayed unwrapped on wooden shelves behind a counter. These are the loaves baked right here in the store. He sees crusty French baguettes, round sourdough loaves, and dark, dense rye bread. These usually have a shorter shelf life because they don't have the preservatives that packaged bread does. Tom decides on a loaf of whole wheat from the in-store bakery. He could ask the baker, "Could I get a loaf of whole wheat, please?" Many bakeries will even slice it for you if you ask. Today, though, the loaves are already bagged on a self-serve rack. He picks one up. It feels soft and fresh. He checks the baked on date on the label to make sure it was made today. His eyes wander over to the pastry case. This is where the real temptation is. Gleaming donuts, flaky croissants, decadent muffins, all lined up in perfect, delicious rows. A single donut might be $1, but a box of 6 is $5, a bulk discount designed to make you buy more than you planned. Tom's list doesn't mention pastries, but a chocolate croissant catches his eye. He hesitates. This is a classic impulse buy, a totally unplanned purchase. He thinks about that flaky pastry and melted chocolate and decides to treat himself. He grabs a pair of tongs, puts one croissant in a little wax paper bag, and into the cart it goes. Next stop, right beside the bakery, is the deli counter. The deli, short for delicatessen, is where you buy sliced meats, cheeses, and prepared salads like coleslaw or potato salad. Tom needs a half-pound of turkey breast. He takes a number from the little red dispenser, a simple system to make sure everyone's served in order. He waits for his number, 42, to flash on the screen. When it's his turn, he walks up to the counter. The deli worker smiles and asks, "What can I get for you today?" Tom replies, "Hi, I'd like half a pound of the oven-roasted turkey breast, please." In the U.S., deli items are sold by the pound, which is about 450 grams. You can also order by the number of slices if you're not sure. The worker asks, "How would you like that sliced?" A standard question. You can ask for it thin for sandwiches or thick for a platter. "Slice thin, please," Tom says. The worker puts the turkey on the electric slicer with its familiar whirring sound. She slices a few pieces and puts them on the scale. "Is this amount okay?" she asks, showing him the weight. It reads 0.52 pounds. It's pretty common to be slightly over or under. "That's perfect, thank you," Tom replies. She wraps the turkey in waxed paper, seals it with a sticker showing the price and weight, and hands it to him. "Anything else for you?" "No, that's all for today. Thanks." Tom takes the package and continues his journey, having successfully navigated 2 of the most tempting spots in the store. Now pushes his cart along the back wall of the supermarket. This is where you'll almost always find the meat, seafood, and dairy departments. Putting these essential items at the very back is a classic strategy. It forces shoppers to walk through the entire store, past countless other products, maximizing the chance for impulse buys. You came for chicken, but on the way, you might remember you need ketchup or be tempted by a special on cookies. The meat department is a sea of white and pink, all neatly packaged in styrofoam trays with clear plastic wrap. Tom's list includes chicken breasts. He sees several options: brand-name chicken, the slightly cheaper store brand, and an air-chilled option that's supposed to be more tender. And of course, there's an organic section. Tom is looking for a package of 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. He picks one up to examine it. The meat should be a healthy pink, not grayish. He also checks the sell-by or use-by date on the label. The sell-by date tells the store when to pull the product, while the use-by date is the recommendation for you for the best quality. You always want to buy meat well before this date. The package he holds is fresh, so he puts it in his cart. He makes a mental note to bag it separately at checkout to prevent any juices from leaking onto his other groceries, a key food safety tip to prevent cross-contamination. Next to the poultry, which includes chicken and turkey, is the red meat section with beef and pork. The beef is categorized by cuts. You've got ground beef for burgers, steaks like sirloin and ribeye, and larger roasts for slow cooking. The labels on ground beef often show numbers like 80/20ths, meaning 80% lean meat and 20% fat. The higher the lean percentage, the less fat, and usually the more expensive it is. Then there's the seafood counter. It's a lot like the deli, but the display case is filled with ice to keep everything fresh. You can see whole fish, fillets, slices with the bones removed, shrimp, and scallops. The smell here is distinctly of the sea, briny and fresh. A strong fishy smell is actually a sign that the seafood is not fresh. Tom doesn't need any seafood today, but he glances over. A sign advertises wild-caught salmon next to farmed salmon. The difference? Wild-caught fish are caught in their natural environment, while farm-raised fish are raised in enclosures. There's a lot of debate about which is better for taste, nutrition, and the environment, but wild-caught is almost always more expensive. He's got what he needs here. He pushes his cart along the back wall, heading for the dairy. The dairy aisle is another must-visit for most shoppers. Just like the meat department, it's usually at the back of the store to make you walk past everything else. Tom's list has a few things from this section: milk, eggs, and yogurt. He's met by a long wall of refrigerators with glass doors, all humming with a constant low drone. This is the milk section, and the amount of choice can be mind-boggling. There's whole milk, the highest fat, 2%, reduced fat, 1%, low fat, and skim, fat-free. And that's before you even get to the alternatives: soy milk, almond milk, oat milk. The list goes on. Tom is looking for a gallon of 2% milk. He scans the shelves, which are organized by fat content and then by brand. He finds the store brand 2% and, before grabbing it, does the most important check: the expiration date. It's usually stamped on the cap or the jug. He finds one with a date 2 weeks from now. Perfect. He gives the jug a quick check to make sure it's not leaking. No sticky residue on the outside is a good sign. Next up, eggs. They're right next to the milk, and again, so many choices. White eggs, brown eggs. Fun fact, the shell color is about the breed of the chicken, not the nutrition. Then you see labels like cage-free, free-range, and pasture-raised. These terms describe the living conditions of the hens and come with different price tags. Cage-free means the hens aren't in cages, but they might still be in a crowded barn. Free-range means they have some access to the outdoors, and pasture-raised suggests they have even more space to roam. Tom just needs a standard dozen. He opens the carton, a crucial step, and checks for any cracked eggs. A cracked egg can be contaminated with bacteria. He also gently touches each egg to make sure it's not stuck to the carton, which might mean it broke before. All 12 are intact. He closes the carton and places it securely in his cart. His final item here is yogurt. The yogurt section is a rainbow of plastic cups. There's thick, high-protein Greek yogurt, regular yogurt, fruit on the bottom kinds, and blended ones. Tom wants plain Greek yogurt for his smoothies. He finds his favorite brand, grabs a large tub, and, you guessed it, checks the expiration date before it goes in the cart. Now turns his cart away from the cold outer ring and faces the long, parallel aisles in the heart of the supermarket. This is where you find the dry goods, shelf-stable products that don't need refrigeration until you open them. We're talking pasta, rice, canned soup, breakfast cereal, you name it. The ends of the aisles have these big displays called end caps. This is prime real estate in a supermarket. Stores use them to feature new products, seasonal items, or, most often, things on sale. They're designed to catch your eye and spark an impulse buy. Right now, an end cap is stacked high with brand-name crackers and salsa, with a big sign that says Game Day Special. Tom checks his list. No crackers or salsa needed. He resists and steers his cart into the aisle he's looking for. Each aisle has a sign hanging from the ceiling listing the main product categories, like aisle 7, pasta, rice, canned vegetables, international foods. This signage is a lifesaver for getting around efficiently. Tom heads to the pasta aisle for a box of spaghetti. And once again, he's faced with a wall of choices. Dozens of brands and shapes: spaghetti, fettuccine, penne, fusilli. There's pasta from wheat, but also gluten-free options made from corn, rice, or chickpeas. He spots the store brand spaghetti, $1 cheaper than the famous Italian brand right next to it. He compares the ingredients. They're pretty much identical. This is often the case. Store brands, also known as private labels, can save you a lot of money for a very similar product. He puts the store brand spaghetti in his cart. He also needs a jar of pasta sauce, which is conveniently right next to the pasta. Classic product placement. If you're buying one, you'll probably need the other. He sees marinara, tomato basil, Alfredo. He grabs a jar of his usual marinara. Pushing his cart down the aisle, he gets to the canned goods. His list says canned tomatoes. He finds diced, crushed, and whole peeled tomatoes. His recipe calls for diced, so he grabs a can. He gives it a quick once-over to make sure it's not dented, bulging, or leaking. A damaged can could be a sign of botulism, a rare but serious illness. This can look fine. Next up, breakfast cereal. He turns into the cereal aisle, which is a perfect example of another psychological trick. The shelves are often set up with sugary, kid-focused cereals on the lower shelves, right at the eye level of a child in a shopping cart. The healthier, high-fiber adult cereals are way up on the top shelves. And the best-selling big-name brands? They're right at an adult's eye level. It's not an accident. Products at eye level get the most attention and sell the best. Tom is looking for a simple box of oat cereal. He finds it on a middle shelf. He notices a buy one, get one free offer on a different, more expensive granola. This kind of deal, often called BOGO, makes you feel like you're getting a bargain, encouraging you to buy more than you planned. Tom thinks about it for a second, but sticks to his list and just picks up the one box he came for. The final stop in these aisles is the snack aisle. This can be the most dangerous aisle for anyone on a budget or a diet. It's a colorful, loud aisle filled with bags of potato chips, pretzels, and cookies. The packaging is designed to be as eye-catching as possible. Tom's son asked for a bag of chips as a treat. Tom walks down the aisle, looking at all the options: regular, wavy, kettle-cooked. And the flavors: sour cream and onion, barbecue, salt, and vinegar. He grabs a family-sized bag of plain salted potato chips and adds it to his very full cart. He managed to avoid any extra cookies or candy, another small win. Tom's cart is getting heavy. He makes his way to one of the coldest parts of the store, the frozen food section. It's all long rows of chest freezers with sliding glass lids or upright freezers with doors. The air is noticeably colder here. Frozen foods are all about convenience. You can find everything from frozen veggies and fruits to full-on ready meals, pizzas, and desserts. A ready meal, or a TV dinner as it's often called in the US, is a pre-cooked meal that you just have to heat up. Tom's list has two things from this section: frozen peas and a pint of ice cream. He finds the frozen vegetables first. Buying frozen can be a great way to save money and cut down on food waste, since they last for months and are often frozen when they're freshest. He grabs a bag of store-brand frozen peas. He gives the bag a little shake. He wants the peas inside to be loose. If they're frozen in a solid block, it might mean the bag thawed and was refrozen, which can mess with the quality. The peas in this bag rattle around freely. Good to go. Now for the very last item on his list: a pint of chocolate ice cream. The ice cream freezers are a wonderland of frozen treats. There are so many brands and flavors, from simple vanilla to crazy concoctions with names like Caramel Collision. He finds the chocolate section and picks out his favorite brand. He opens the freezer door, gets hit with a blast of icy air, quickly grabs the pint, and shuts the door. You want to be quick to keep the cold air in. He checks that the safety seal under the lid is intact and gives the top of the container a little press. If it were soft or sticky, it might have partially thawed. This one is rock solid. He places it in his cart. His list is officially complete. The shopping cart is full and the list is done. Tom's journey is almost over. All that's left is checking out. He pushes his cart to the front of the store where he has a choice: the traditional checkout lanes with a cashier or the self-checkout stations. The traditional checkout has a long conveyor belt where you unload your groceries. You use that little plastic bar, the divider, to separate your stuff from the people in front of and behind you. The cashier scans each item, and you hear that iconic beep of the barcode scanner. Self-checkout lets you scan and bag your own groceries. It can be faster if you only have a few things, but can get tricky with produce that needs to be weighed. Tom's cart is packed, so he picks a traditional lane. He looks for an open lane, usually marked with a lit-up sign. He picks a line that looks pretty short. While he waits, he's surrounded by one last gauntlet of temptation. The checkout area is often called the impulse zone, and it's filled with magazines, candy bars, gum, and cold sodas. These are cheap items that are easy to grab and add to your order without thinking while you wait. Tom looks away and focuses on unloading his cart. He starts putting his items on the conveyor belt with a system, frozen foods together, heavy items like the milk jug first, and fragile things like the eggs and bread last. When it's his turn, he greets the cashier. "Hi, how are you?" The cashier replies, "I'm good, thanks. How are you? Find everything okay?" A very common, friendly exchange. "Yep, I did, thank you," Tom says. The cashier starts scanning, a blur of practiced motion. Beep, beep, beep. The items and prices pop up on a small screen facing Tom. He watches the total climb. The cashier weighs the produce on a scale built into the counter and types in a code. At the end of the belt, the bagger asks the classic question, "Paper or plastic?" Tom forgot his reusable bags today, so he says, "Plastic is fine, thank you." The bagger is an expert, putting heavy things on the bottom and lighter things on top, often double bagging the heaviest items so the bag won't break. The scanning is done. Your total is $124.57, the cashier announces. Time to pay. Tom could use cash or even write a check, though that's less common now. He chooses his debit card. He inserts his card into the card reader or PS terminal, follows the prompts on the screen, confirms the amount, enters his PIN, and waits. A moment later, it's approved. The machine prints out a receipt. "Would you like your receipt?" the cashier asks. "Yes, please," Tom says. It's always a good idea to take it in case you need to return something. His groceries are all bagged and back in the cart. He thanks the cashier and the bagger, takes his receipt, and pushes his full cart toward the exit. As the automatic doors slide open again, Tom steps back out into the daylight, leaving the cool, calculated world of the supermarket behind. His trip is over. He successfully navigated the aisles, resisted most of the temptations, and got everything he needed. He has a receipt in his pocket and a cart full of groceries to feed his family for the week. This whole journey, from the empty cart to the final receipt, is something millions of us do every day. But as we've seen, it's so much more than a simple chore. It's an experience shaped by psychology and marketing strategy. Every sign, every smell, every single shelf is designed to influence what you do. By understanding what really happens inside a supermarket, you're not just learning English vocabulary for food. You're becoming a smarter, more aware shopper. You now have the language to ask for what you need at the deli, the knowledge to pick the freshest produce, and the insight to see the psychological tricks designed to make you spend more. So, the next time you grab a shopping cart, remember Tom's journey. Make a list, check the dates, Look at the shelves above and below your eye level and watch out for those tempting end caps. Your shopping trip won't just be more efficient, you'll be the one in control. Thanks for joining us on this trip through the supermarket. We hope you found it helpful. If you enjoyed this story and learned something new, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories to help you learn English. And don't forget to share your own supermarket tips in the comments below. Happy shopping!